My ex compared me to her dead father and called me less than a man for blocking her. I panicked, lied, and ended up emotionally betraying my girlfriend while trying to keep the peace. Now I can't tell if I cheated or just completely lost myself. It's been 3 months since it happened, and I still feel sick when I think about it. The shame, the stress, the constant replaying of every choice that led me here. It started on my ex's birthday. I was with my girlfriend, someone I'd been dating for about 3 months. Things were finally good, calm, peaceful, or at least they were supposed to be. Then my phone buzzed, and there it was, a message from my ex. For context, my ex and I were together for about a year and a half, though calling it a relationship feels wrong now. It was more like a cycle, a painful, draining loop of apologies, guilt, and emotional whiplash. I had broken up with her once before, and she never really let me forget it. She'd tell me I ruined her life, that I abandoned her like her dead father. She said she couldn't trust anyone again because of me. I spent a year trying to prove that I wasn't the monster she thought I was, apologizing endlessly, explaining myself, reassuring her. I thought that if I just showed her I cared enough, maybe she'd finally forgive me. Eventually, after all that chaos, we got back together. I thought maybe this time would be different. But the same patterns started all over again. She'd punish me for things that didn't make sense. If I went to bed late, she'd stop talking to me the next day. If I questioned something she said, like when she spoke fondly about her ex, she'd go silent for hours, making me beg for a response. I remember one night in particular, 4 hours of texting her apologies, just trying to get her to answer me. When she finally did, she said I made her cry, that I'd ruined her life again, and she was sorry for even opening up to me. It was like walking through a minefield. Every step I took was wrong. I already struggle with depression and ADHD, and being in that relationship felt like drowning with weights tied to my ankles. Eventually, I realized I couldn't do it anymore. I broke up with her. I thought it would be the end of the pain, that I could finally breathe again. 2 weeks later, I met her, the woman who's now my girlfriend. She was like sunlight after years of gray. She liked poetry, shared my sense of humor, even had the same weird fashion quirks. It felt too good to be real. For the first time, I didn't feel like I had to earn someone's affection or apologize just for existing. She liked me genuinely. I know it was quick, maybe impulsive, but I couldn't help it. After everything, I just wanted something real, something kind. I asked her out, and she said yes. The following weeks were a blur of happiness I didn't know I could still feel. She made me laugh again. She made me feel wanted. And then my ex texted me. On her birthday of all days. Seeing her name pop up made my chest tighten instantly. I shouldn't have opened the message, but I did. I don't even know why. Curiosity, guilt, habit? Probably all three. It was something simple like, hey, I just wanted to say hi. It's my birthday today. But the moment I read it, all the old feelings came flooding back. Not love, but that same suffocating sense of responsibility. Like I owed her something. Like if I didn't respond, I'd be the villain again. It all came crashing down 5 days after my new relationship began. 5 days. That's all it took for the past to claw its way back in and ruin everything I thought I'd finally escaped. It was my ex's birthday. I didn't remember. I didn't care. I had her blocked on everything, and that block wasn't out of spite. It was survival. I needed distance from her chaos, her guilt trips, her emotional manipulation. Blocking her was the only way to breathe. So yeah, I forgot her birthday. But somehow, she still found a way to reach me. A new message popped up from an unfamiliar account. Long, essay length. The first line froze me. Hey, you told me you're not the type of guy who fucks and leaves, but you're exactly like these people. I just stared at it, heart pounding. I didn't even want to open it, but of course I did. She went on and on. How I didn't wish her happy birthday, how she was disappointed, how I had lied about being different. Every line was a knife. I couldn't respond. She had me blocked on that new account. But my idiot guilt-ridden self couldn't leave it alone. I unblocked her main account and messaged her back. I told her the truth, that I hadn't done anything wrong, that she'd been emotionally abusive, that I was exhausted, and that's why I finally walked away. Then she hit me with 3 things I still can't shake. She told me I was like her rapist. She said I was just like her dead father, who had abandoned her when she was a child. And she said that men who block women aren't real men. Those words gutted me. Not because I believed them, but because she knew exactly where to hit. She knew my own trauma. My dad walked out on me and my mom when I was young, and that wound still hasn't healed. I grew up terrified of becoming him, terrified of being the man who leaves. And now here she was, comparing me to everything I hate, everything I fear about myself. So what did I do? The same thing I always do when guilt eats me alive. I caved. I lied. I said, I was about to wish you happy birthday. I just got busy. Happy birthday. I typed it out knowing it was complete bullshit, but I needed her to stop. I needed her to stop hurting me. Then I told myself I'd just stay friends with her. She was hurting, and she needed someone. I convinced myself that maybe if I stayed calm and friendly, she'd stop attacking me. But she didn't. She never does. Instead, she doubled down. She said I never loved her, that I abused her like her father did, that I broke her heart the same way every man in her life did. She said I pretended to care just to leave her again. It was relentless. At one point, I remember replying, I don't even know why, I love you, but I need time. I can't be in a relationship with you right now. I said it out of panic, out of guilt, not because I wanted her back, but because I wanted to calm her down. I told myself I meant it as love in a human way, not romantic. That I loved her as someone I once cared for, but couldn't be with. But deep down, I know that moment was a crack in the wall I built between us. I broke my own boundary. I went against everything I told myself I stood for, that I'd never tell someone I loved them unless I truly meant it and was in a relationship with them. I'd made that rule because I know how words can trap people, how they can make you feel responsible for someone else's pain. Still, I said it. And I regret it. But I can't lie to myself. That's the part that kills me the most. Knowing deep down that something about all of this isn't right, that I crossed lines I didn't even fully understand. It's been months, but I still replay every second of it in my head, trying to figure out why I acted the way I did. Why I stayed. Why I couldn't just end it cleanly and walk away. After the birthday message and everything that followed, I told myself I needed time, time to breathe, time to think, time to let things settle. But she didn't give me space. She kept messaging, guilt-tripping, crying, saying how badly I hurt her. And I couldn't block her again. I was scared. Scared she'd spiral. Scared she'd hurt herself. Scared I'd become the villain in her story. She told me that people who leave her always end up like her dad. And I didn't want to be that man. I didn't want to be the one who left someone broken. So I stayed. Not because I wanted to, but because I felt like I had to. Like her pain was my responsibility. Like if something happened to her, it would be on me. At first, I told myself I was just trying to calm her down, to be nice, to ease her pain. But somewhere along the way, she started slipping back into calling me her boyfriend. At first, I ignored it. Then I laughed awkwardly. Then I said nothing. And silence, I've learned, can be its own kind of answer. She kept saying things like, "You're mine, right? And we're okay now, aren't we?" And I didn't say yes, but I didn't say no either. I just froze. I didn't want to set her off again. Didn't want another storm of accusations and guilt. So I let her think whatever made her calm, and I told myself I was doing it for her safety. But then I found something in my phone notes the other day, something I'd written back then. It said, "Don't reject her yet. You don't want to lose your chances." And that broke me. Because what did I mean by that? Did I subconsciously want her as a backup? Was I keeping her around just in case? I want to believe I didn't. I want to believe I was just scared. But maybe I was scared of being alone, too. Maybe part of me liked the safety of knowing someone still wanted me, even if that someone was toxic. All the while, I had my girlfriend. The girl I actually wanted. The girl who made me feel calm, not chaotic. The girl who didn't weaponize my trauma against me. And yet, I kept answering my ex's messages. I kept trying to handle her feelings instead of protecting my relationship. It wasn't even romantic, at least not to me. I didn't want her. But emotionally, I was caught in a web I couldn't get out of. And then there were the jokes. God, the jokes. I have this bad habit. I tease, I say stupid things, I make dirty jokes. It's never serious. It's my way of breaking tension. I've done it with friends before, guys and girls. It's not flirting, at least, not in my head. To me, flirting means wanting to be with someone. This was just humor. Just noise to fill silence. But she didn't take it that way. She'd laugh, or sometimes flirt back, and then things would feel heavy again. I didn't encourage it, but I didn't shut it down either. I'd just redirect or go quiet. Sometimes she'd try to turn things sexual, and I'd make excuses, say I was busy, tired, distracted. And in those moments, I'd text my girlfriend, like I was trying to remind myself where I actually belonged. But my ex would get angry whenever I didn't respond fast enough. She'd send strings of messages. Are you ignoring me? Why don't you care anymore? I knew you were lying. Every ping made me feel like I was back in a burning house, trying to put out the fire without burning myself again. I'd panic, drop what I was doing, respond quickly just to keep her calm. It was exhausting. My girlfriend would text, and I'd answer her slower. I justified it to myself. I'm just preventing an explosion. But the truth is, I was giving my energy to someone who didn't deserve it anymore. I started therapy a few days ago. Honestly, it's the only thing keeping me from completely spiraling. When I told my therapist about everything, well, almost everything, she said I didn't cheat. That what happened with my ex was trauma bonding. That I was responding from fear and guilt, not desire. She said my brain was reacting to past trauma, not trying to betray anyone. But even hearing her say it, I can't bring myself to believe it. What if she's just trying to make me feel better? What if she's wrong? Because I keep thinking, ADHD, trauma, whatever, they don't excuse cheating. They don't excuse weakness. They don't excuse me letting my ex have that kind of power over me again. I wasn't drunk, I wasn't unaware. I could have blocked her, could have ignored the messages. I didn't. That's on me. But then I think about how it felt, how every time she messaged me, my chest tightened. I'd wake up in panic before even checking my phone. I knew she'd have written something, accusing me, insulting me, dragging me through every emotional landmine she could. And still, I'd answer. Not because I wanted to, but because not answering terrified me more. The thought of her saying, "You're just like my dad again," or "You abandoned me like everyone else," or "You ruined my life," that's what kept me stuck. I didn't enjoy talking to her. I didn't get any thrill or comfort out of it. I felt disgusted with myself most of the time. It wasn't fun. It was survival. Like trying to soothe a wild animal before it bites you again. Every reply was damage control, not affection. But what really messes with me are the jokes. Those stupid, meaningless jokes. I make dirty jokes sometimes, not sexually charged ones, just teasing, stupid humor I use when I'm trying to lighten the mood. It's something I do with people I feel safe around, not necessarily people I'm attracted to. But now, looking back, I keep thinking, she didn't see it that way. She was clearly trying to rekindle something romantic, and I was tossing these little lines into the fire without realizing they could feed it. And that's what's eating me alive. I don't know what my intent was anymore. I remember wanting to make her stop crying, to make her smile. But maybe part of me wanted to keep her calm, to avoid her lashing out again. Was that kindness, fear, or manipulation? Was I trying to fix her, or just trying to make myself feel like the good guy? I didn't flirt, at least not on purpose. But she might have thought I was. And if she did, does that make me a cheater? Even if I didn't mean it that way? Even if I didn't feel anything romantic toward her? I don't know anymore. I told my therapist, I feel like a liar. Like I'm trying to rewrite history to stay with my girlfriend. Because if I admit I cheated, even emotionally, then what am I supposed to do? Look her in the eyes and tell her I'm not the man she thinks I am? Lose her because of something I didn't even mean to do? So, I did what I could. I tried to rebuild from the mess. My girlfriend and I sat down and set new boundaries together, clear, specific ones. Things like, no dirty jokes with anyone. No saying I love you to someone of another gender. She said them calmly, not accusingly, but I could feel the weight of what they meant. These were rules built from my mistakes. She was showing me what respect looks like, what safety means. But her doing that also made me worry more. Because if these are our new boundaries now, does that mean I crossed them before, even if I didn't realize what I was doing? To try and fix things, I set new, clear boundaries with my girlfriend, no dirty jokes with anyone, no saying I love you to another gender, and full honesty about emotional connections. She agreed, but it made me spiral. If I needed these rules now, doesn't that mean I already crossed a line before? Even if my jokes with my ex were innocent to me, just a stupid attempt to lighten the mood, what if they weren't to her? What if I really did flirt, even without meaning to? I keep going in circles trying to convince myself I didn't cheat, but deep down I'm terrified I did. I don't want to be the kind of person who hurt someone who finally made me feel safe.